very unfortunate, contemplating and do not have a VAT as yet. And then on Friday we'll have an engagement with your needs going forward. The theme...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. High Commissioner Kerr, CEO of Focus, as we call them, and all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. This morning I was actually speaking to a room full of high school head teachers, not high school, sorry, primary school head teachers. There's about 600 of them. This evening I'm in a room full of tax people. So I don't know if there's any correlation between that, but it gives me much pleasure to be here. I do not intend to make a long speech, and I mean, you're all tax experts. I don't want to start talking about tax, that's your everyday job, but I think I wanted to highlight a couple of things. I think it's very critically important for us to be able to have regional cooperation between, of course, the organizations such as PETA, of course, PIFTAC now facilitates that too. The reality is many of the Pacific Island countries are actually quite small. The economies of scale do not necessarily exist, and we do not necessarily have all the expertise existing in all the individual countries. So therefore, it's critically important to have that level of collaboration. We would, of course, like to thank countries like Australia, New Zealand, various other development partners that facilitate that collaboration. Recently, we had some of the dignitaries from the other Pacific Island countries visiting. About 3 years ago also we had a gathering here at this very hotel where we informally brought together some of the finance ministers together, and we talked about how we need to collaborate in respect of, for example, intelligence sharing. There's of course a lot of cross-border transactions that do take place, and we need to be aware of what's happening. We have, of course, a number of other challenges that we do face where it requires a lot of intelligence gathering, requires a lot more collaboration to be able to tackle some of these issues, but also at the same time to be able to build upon the capacities that exist in the individual countries. We, of course, you know, in Fiji we've had a number of challenges in the past, and what we have done, we've tried to focus on building a very stable environment, politically, constitutionally, but also within the taxation system. But the reality is that we have to understand sometimes tax people, as I've said to FRCS, as I say to the people in the Ministry of Economy, you cannot simply view your jobs in a very narrow, focused manner. Because of the nature of the scope of your work, you need to think about what you may consider extraneous factors outside that. So, you know, for example, things like internet connection. If we want to, for example, get more tax returns, get more correspondence via electronic means, we have to make sure that there is internet connectivity throughout the country. And we cannot, in fact, cherry pick. As we've said, you know, recently on Saturday, we were in Vanuatu, which is the other island, where the Honourable Prime Minister launched the cable that now lands in Vanuatu. It's increased the speed of internet and the capacity 100 times over, just overnight, landing a cable there. You know, and he mentioned that the digital age is actually the great equalizer. And as I mentioned this morning to the teachers, it also can be the greatest disequalizer if you do not ensure that that technology is available to everybody in the country. So it should not only be available to people in the towns and cities, it should be available to people in the remote islands, the remote urban areas, in some of the islands that spread across our country. Because you create a huge disequilibrium. That, of course, can have its own problems. So in order for us to be able to ensure that everybody is treated equally, your services are actually spread throughout the country, we have to ensure that internet services are provided everywhere. There are many other examples that I can give you. In the same way, for example, I spoke to the hotel industry and I said to them, I said, you know, you need to be, for example, be aware of and in fact contribute to things like, or laws pertaining to domestic violence. Because it's not some amorphous concept or, you know, a social issue that's not part of the commercial setup. It is very much part of that. It affects your commercial operations. If you walk around this hotel, you will see many people who work in this hotel who are women. Most women, or I should say, the victims of domestic violence tend to generally be women. So if they do not have a space through which domestic violence is addressed, then obviously the level of absenteeism will increase, the productivity levels will go down, and therefore it has an impact on the business. So there are many issues pertaining to your area of work as tax people, people who will actually help your policymakers formulate policy, that you need to be aware of all the extraneous factors that actually affect your work. And that's what we're trying to do. In Fiji's case, of course, it took us 35 years post-independence to reach tax revenue of about $1 billion. Then it took us 10 years to reach $2 billion. Then it took us only 4 years to reach $3 billion. But in that space of time, as has been highlighted, the income tax threshold in fact increased from $8,400 or $8,600 all the way up to $30,000. Corporate tax reduced from 33% to 20%. If you listen to the South Pacific Stock Exchange, it was 10%. VAT, of course, as highlighted, decreased from 15% to 9%. Of course, politically speaking, one may say that we copped a bit of flack because we actually applied VAT to those 6 so-called items, food items. But now there's uniformity. But in fact, there's a lot more equality now as a result of doing that. So I think, I suppose the message that I'm trying to give is that we sometimes need to be able to think for the long term. If you think only up to your noses, if you only think up till, up to the next political cycle, you will never make tough decisions. Or in fact, I would say you will never make the right decisions. And that I think is very critical. And it's also critical for you as advisors to your respective governments to have that view in mind. Otherwise, we won't be able to progress individually as countries and indeed as a region. I'd like to thank, of course, everybody who's contributed to this event. I'd like to, again to thank Australia and New Zealand. I also look forward to Australia and New Zealand finalizing a DTA. It's long overdue. We need to get that organized, and I'll soon be talking to your High Commissioner about that, also the Australian High Commissioner. But I think, I look forward to talking to many of you, and indeed, taking the message back to your countries that we want to collaborate, we want to work together, because without collaboration, given our size, we will not be able to progress and actually achieve what we do want to achieve, and have a modern taxation system that is attractive, that actually brings revenue to your country, but also at the same time ensures that you provide a particular level of equality to your citizens, and indeed the services the government requires from the revenue that they can provide. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I wish you all a very good evening. Thank you.